Hey guys, just want to do a lesson on scales here. And the basic idea is, okay, well, how are we going to play scales? Uh, what are scales useful for? Well, sometimes you have a song where there's the melody part, or sometimes you're taking a solo. So you got to know your scales inside out, which means you got to know your fretboard inside and out. And these are just some basics on how to play scales. With experience and time, you get familiar with the fretboard and becomes second nature. But you got to know how to play scales if you're going to do anything involving melodies, play lead, that kind of thing, which a lot of more intermediate and advanced players tend to do. Okay, so the first thing is, okay, here's a scale chart, and you notice I went ahead and drew a whole bunch of frets, I think like 10 or 11 frets here, and I outlined the first three patterns of G major scale. Okay, so you'll notice in my notation here, I did an open O to identify the roots. This is a G, third fret of the low E string, and there's G's all over the place, so I went ahead and circled them. And the second thing you're going to notice is I kind of sort of blocked out the first four frets of the pattern, and these 5 frets here for the second pattern on the top, and then these 4 frets here for the third pattern. And there's a 4th pattern and a 5th pattern too, which I'll include. You can go ahead and check that out. And so basically, the main thing is, okay, rule of thumb when you're fingering these chord patterns is you want to use 1 fret per finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're in a particular position. This is absolutely crucial, and it's good technique. The reason is because, when you're running multiple lines or really complex lines, you really want to be able to put your fingers on, all of the frets that you need to for a particular melody, and you want to be able to do so fluently, especially when you're, for example, changing patterns from like the first pattern, second pattern to the third pattern. Okay, and I'll give you examples of that. The first thing is, okay, we're going to go over the patterns. Second thing, talk a little bit about how to transition between patterns, how to move your hand position. Okay, so the very first thing is, okay, you notice, hey, the first pattern is in second position. What that means is the second fret is the first finger, so this would be considered second position. I'm going to go ahead and put it there. Third fret, 4th fret, and 5th fret, okay? So this is second position. So any note that you play on the second fret will be used first finger. Any note that you play on the 3rd fret, you will use the second finger. Any note that you play on the 4th fret, you're going to use the 3rd finger, this one right here. And anything you play on the 5th fret is you're going to use your pinky, which is your 4th finger. Okay, so rule of thumb. Well, not the thumb actually. Rule of fingers. Okay. So, anyways, so we're going to start, and you notice this pattern actually starts on the G, which is going to be in your second finger on the 3rd fret. Okay, so go ahead and start and play that. Okay. Okay, and then keep going. Use your 5th finger, your 4th finger, your 1st finger, your 2nd finger, your 4th finger. Okay, then your 1st finger on the next string, then your 3rd finger, okay, and then the last one, which is, okay, your 4th finger on your pinky, okay. So as you go up the scale, you notice my hand goes ahead, and it goes ahead and goes through each finger correctly, okay. No matter what you're doing, if you're in that position, get into a good habit of one finger per fret, okay? And then you can go to play the whole pattern. Looks like this. Okay, something like that, okay? The second pattern, okay, and then you go through and you have to practice it, so you build up your chops, okay? And I didn't mention the right hand. You could alternate pick, or you can do downstrokes. I'll cover a little bit of those details in a different lesson, okay? The second pattern, we move on to the second pattern. Well, you notice, hey, I'm starting at the 4th fret here, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. So we're spanning 5 frets, not 4 frets. So when you do this, you actually got to move positions from 5th position. Maybe you start off in 5th position and you go to 4th position for a little bit. Okay, so how's that going to look? We start here in 5th position. Okay, then suddenly I got to move back to this note here, which I'm going to have to move my hand position back to the 4th position to get that note. Okay, I'll show you again. Okay. fret noise, and then you change positions. So you notice that when I move from fourth position, okay, now I'm using the right fingering. I'm always using the right fingering depending on my position. You get used to it, you practice it, and then that's part of the transition skills that you're going to need. Always, your hand kind of is in that groove, 4 frets, okay? So you go, switch position again. See, I could even do like a hybrid, see? As long as you get the notes and you move positions and you're using the right fingering. See, it really depends. Let me do that again. You can see me moving my hand, right? Okay, so it depends on your comfort level and your skill, and you'll eventually get comfortable with moving your hand. And whenever you move your hand between positions, always get ready for all those things. Okay, there's a third pattern too, and that's basically how you do scales.